You are 24. You are standing in a dealership parking lot with a set of keys in your hand that already belong to you. The lot is loud in the particular way car lots are loud. Banners snapping in the wind, a salesperson's voice still faintly audible through the glass door behind you, the smell of new tires and window cleaner following you out into the sun. 20 minutes ago, that same salesperson slid a financing offer across his desk. 6.4%, 70 months. A payment he called, twice, very manageable, the way people describe things they need you to stop thinking about. You looked at the number for exactly as long as politeness required, told him you'd think about it, and walked 2 lots down the street instead. The car you're holding keys to now is 5 years old. Clean maintenance history, 1 previous owner, a price you paid in full the same week, in cash, without a single form for a bank to approve. There is no payment due next month. There is no payment due the month after that. There is, if you're honest, a small, strange discomfort standing in this parking lot, like everyone else here knows a rule you just quietly broke. Now hold that feeling in your head, next to one number, because this is the story of what happens to the exact same monthly amount, the average American car payment, dollar for dollar, when it goes somewhere else entirely, for 30 years. Here's the number to hold on to, $770. That's the average new car payment in America right now, financed at just over 6% for nearly 6 years. A number so common it barely qualifies as a decision anymore. It's simply what a car costs now, the way rent is simply what an apartment costs. You don't have that payment. You have a car, paid for, sitting in your driveway with nothing owed on it, and $770 a month that used to belong to a lender and now belongs to you. That night, you open an account. Same kind of account, same total market index fund, same one-button setup you've heard other people describe, and you send that exact amount into it. On the same day of the month, it would have left your account for a car note. It looks almost silly at first. A car payment, redirected into a number on a screen that doesn't run on gas, doesn't need an oil change, and doesn't lose value the moment you drive it off a lot. You set the transfer to repeat automatically, the same way people set up their car payment without a second thought, except this one doesn't call you if you're late, and doesn't repossess anything if the year gets hard. It just sits there, on the same schedule, every single month, whether you remember it exists or not. You're 29, 5 years in. The account reads close to $56,600. You've contributed $46,200 of that yourself. $770 every month, on a schedule you set once and never had to think about again, while the index fund quietly added the other $10,400 on top of it, while you were doing anything else with your attention. Your car, meanwhile, has needed exactly one thing in 5 years: a new set of tires, no loan officer to call, no monthly statement reminding you what you owe, just a car that starts, and a number in an account that grows, on the same day of the month, without your permission required either way. We'll call your coworker Marcus, because every office has one. Marcus financed a brand new truck the same year you bought your 5-year-old sedan. Bigger, louder, the kind of vehicle that turns heads in a parking lot the way your quiet sedan never will. His payment is $770 too. Same number, opposite direction. He mentions more than once, in the easy way people mention things they haven't thought all the way through, that your car looks the same as it did 5 years ago. He's right. That's the whole point of it. Here's what neither of you can see yet. Standing in that same office 5 years apart from 2 very different decisions, the truck Marcus is driving has already lost close to 42% of what he paid for it. Not because he did anything wrong, not because he picked a bad model or drove it carelessly. That's simply what a 5-year-old vehicle does to its own price tag, on average, no matter who's holding the keys. You're 34. 10 years in, the balance is around $140,850. You've put in $92,400 of your own money, one automatic transfer at a time, on a day of the month you've long since stopped consciously noticing. The other $48,450 showed up on its own. The same quiet second job described in an earlier video about $10 coffees, except this one's engine is a car payment nobody had to make, running in the background of a life that otherwise looks completely ordinary. Marcus trades the truck in that year for a newer one. New loan. New 6.4%, or something close to it depending on rates that year. New 70-month term. Same $770 a month. Restarting. Again, like the first loan never happened. Because to the balance of what he actually owns, it basically didn't. The truck is gone. The payment isn't. He tells you, not unkindly, that your car is getting up there in miles. He's not wrong about the number. He's wrong about what it means. A high mileage count on a well-maintained engine is not a warning light. It's just a number, same as the miles on any car that's been driven for a decade. The difference is only which one of you is still making payments on the privilege of driving it. Somewhere in these years, Marcus asks you, half joking, whether you're ever going to upgrade. You tell him you already did. You upgraded the destination of the payment, not the badge on the hood. He laughs. He doesn't stop making the payment. You're 39, 15 years in. The account is close to $266,300. Contributed, $138,600. Growth, $127,700. For the first time, close to half the balance was never money you actually earned twice. You didn't do anything differently that year. You didn't get a raise that mattered, or make a smarter trade, or read a book that changed your strategy. The number simply kept doing what it had been quietly doing since you were 24. Your car is 14 years old now. It still starts every morning, in every season, without asking anything extra of you. It has needed a water pump and 2 sets of tires in a decade and a half, and nothing else worth mentioning. No major repair, no transmission scare, nothing that made you regret the decision even once. Well-maintained cars from reliable brands routinely cross 200,000 miles. Not every car, not automatically, but often enough that drive it until it's actually done was never the reckless choice here. Financing a new one every few years, forever, was the choice that only felt safe. You're 44. 20 years in, the balance is $453,700. You've contributed $184,800 across 2 decades, less than $200,000, spread out over a fifth of your life. The market has added $268,900 on top of it. More than your entire 20 years of contributions combined, sitting quietly in an account you rarely check, doing nothing you asked it to do beyond simply not being touched. This is the year the layoffs hit your industry. Marcus loses his job in March, 3 months into his second truck loan since you last compared notes over lunch. The payment doesn't pause because the paycheck did. Lenders don't read the news. He calls you in June, not for advice, just to talk, and mentions almost in passing that he's underwater on the loan now, owing more than the truck is worth on any lot in town, with a repair bill stacked on top of it he can't easily absorb without missing a payment. You lose your job too, that same spring. Same industry, same timing, same bad year. You don't do anything dramatic. You don't sell anything. You don't call anyone in a panic. There's simply no $770 note demanding to be paid regardless of your income, so the 6 months it takes to find new work pass without a single call from a lender, without a single letter about a missed payment, without a single decision that felt like courage. That's the entire stress test. Not bravery, just the quiet absence of a bill that was never there to begin with. Here's the number that quietly decides the next 30 years for both of you. 3 separate car loans, back-to-back, over 1 lifetime, and each one arrives carrying roughly the same $9,811 in interest, money that buys you nothing, builds you nothing, and disappears completely no matter how many times you pay it. You're 49. 25 years in, the balance reads $732,200. You've contributed $230,400 total, in amounts small enough that no single month of it ever felt like a sacrifice. For the first time, growth alone, $501,800 of it, is more than twice everything you ever put in by hand. The account has stopped needing you almost entirely. It would keep growing at roughly the same pace even if you never added another dollar. You're 54. 30 years from the parking lot where you turned down a financing offer that sounded, at the time, completely reasonable. The balance is $1,047,200. Sit with the 2 numbers, because together they are the entire story this video has been telling since the cold open. Of that total, the amount you personally contributed, $770 a month, the same exact figure as an average car payment, moved somewhere else for 30 consecutive years, comes to $277,200. The other $870,000 is growth, money that never needed a paycheck, never needed a loan officer's approval, never once asked what your credit score was, and never depreciated the moment it left a lot. Marcus retires the same year. Over the same 30 years, on the same monthly number, he's financed roughly 3 separate vehicles, one after another, each one carrying its own load of interest, each one worth a fraction of what he paid for it by the time the next loan quietly began. He's put close to the same amount of money, $277,200, into cars across 3 decades of an otherwise ordinary career. What he has left to show for it is whatever the current one is worth on a used lot this afternoon, and nothing else. No account, no growth. No second income working in the background. Same monthly number, same 30 years, same starting salary roughly, the whole way through. One of you has an account with your own name on it, holding almost 12 times what you ever put into it. The other has a vehicle sitting in a driveway, quietly losing value while he sleeps, exactly the way it always has. Nobody sat either of you down and asked you to choose your entire financial life in that dealership parking lot at 24. It didn't feel like the moment that mattered. It never does, in the moment. It only looks like the fork in the road 30 years later, looking back. 2 people, 1 number, and 30 years standing quietly between them. Somewhere right now, someone is standing in a dealership parking lot, looking at a financing offer that says, "Very manageable," in the fine print. 6.4% doesn't sound dangerous on a single page. 70 months doesn't sound like forever when you're only thinking about next month's budget. That's exactly why almost nobody walks the 2 lots down the street to the older, quieter, paid-for option instead. The offer in front of you is never, by itself, the thing that costs you anything. It's the next 30 years of offers that look exactly like it, one after another, decade after decade, that quietly become a whole different life than the one sitting 2 lots away. If you want to keep following what ordinary, boring money decisions actually add up to over an entire lifetime, subscribe before you go. This channel isn't about which car is better or judging anyone standing in that parking lot. It's about what happens when you leave the same $770 alone long enough to finally work for you, instead of quietly working against you.